What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Jellyfish Coin Weekly Dev Talk. This is episode 30. We've hit a milestone here, Lupe and Trips. Welcome. We're on episode Dirty 30.
The
Dirty
dirty
I like
30. I love
Yeah,
it.
Dirty 30.
I
I
like
remember my 30th birthday. Do you guys remember yours?
Oh, barely.
Barely. Yeah, it was a good time. Don't worry, I'll invite you guys to my 40th. It's gonna be an even better time. We might be able to remember that one.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, there's been lots of stuff and things been happening. I figure I'll recap our basic stuff. We'll go and talk about the pools. We had some big players drop off of our Varus pool, which if you guys don't know, we do have some community mining pools that we provide as a service to the Jellyfish gang. One of them, and the one that I've been most excited about recently, has been Varus Coin. Let me get the screen opened up over here. We had a big player drop off, but we had so many small guys join in with us that we're still able to be smashing blocks. And I believe our efforts have been good. Let me open up and see what we're at today before I put my foot in my mouth. But let's see. What do you guys think our average effort is right now?
Oh, I have
90,
no idea.
96.
96. That's good. I don't know if we're there, but you know what? I like your enthusiasm there.
Optimism.
There we go. Share screen, entire, boom, share. So we're at a 115%. Current effort is 400%. So that's probably hurting our average quite a bit.
Right.
But we've had a little bit of stuff, fluctuate. A lot of people, I know my stuff personally, we had power go out 2 different times this week. So that's, affecting only a couple hundred mega hash, but we've definitely had a heat wave come through like the East Coast area. I know I talked to some other friends down in South Carolina and even Florida. They were having internet issues. So that's got to affect. Oh, look at this. We got Dragon joining the chat. That's got to be affecting all different kinds of people. And then we had a couple people from our Discord that said they're basically going to be pulling everything off except for their cell phones because the cell phones aren't burning much power. They're not creating a lot of heat. And right now in the middle of, we're in the middle of Swamp Fest over here in North Carolina. I can only imagine Lupe. It's got to be.
It's ugly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally like getting a new AC system installed in my house because it's so bad. It's nice, but in the meantime, our time to find a block is 16 hours. That means we should be hitting a block in less than at least one a day, if not potentially more than one a day, which is good. Because at one time when we first started the pool, I know Dragon can attest to this. Our time to find a block was multiple days. And that's always like kind of nerve wracking when you go like 3, 4, 5 days without hitting a block and you don't get any because nobody's getting a payout because there's nothing to pay out. So the more hash we get on there and the more that time goes on, the better that'll be. More blocks we'll find and the more stable it'll get. So I do have some more content coming out. I just did a cell hasher video where I showed setting up a cell hasher, which is a cell phone miner for Varus Coin. And of course, I featured our Varus Coin Jellyfish pool. So there's going to be more, inadvertent advertisements for the Jellyfish Varus pool. As of right now, we don't have merge set up on there or any reward structure, but I'm not going to say we'll never have one on there. I think everybody would like to include it. It's just we don't have the time, resources, and also extra funds to do that right this second. So once that gets more established, though, we'll probably add that in. I don't think that'd be a problem. Now, moving on to one of our other pools, I figure we'll knock out all the pools before we get off here. The old Dreamer pool, as I call it, the solo Bitcoin mining pool, the one that if we ever actually hit a block, why is it not loading? Are we experiencing some issues here? So I can pull up my stats. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. Don't worry, guys. If we ever hit a block, I'll let y'all know first. Okay, there's our full pool stats. So look at this. We have 136 terahash on here. This is our solo Bitcoin mining pool for the Jellyfish gang. And of course, we haven't hit that magical block yet, but our time to find a block is down to 107 years.
Wild.
All right.
Wild.
I'm just saying.
Dude, it was out there like a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Well, when we first started, and I think Batman had a bid axe on, and I had a bid axe, it was like over 1,000 years or something. It was ridiculous. So we're shaving off years for sure. Now, yeah, obviously we haven't hit anything yet, and people have asked because we've kind of teased the idea of adding some kind of reward structure for like being connected, not necessarily hitting a block because we might never hit a block. Maybe I want to be positive about it. I think we are going to hit one, but in the meantime, maybe earning a little bit of jellyfish for just being connected. That's something that me and Dave have talked about. I think we've even talked about it to the other guys on the staff team. And that's probably something that's going to happen after the app is fully fleshed out. Well, not fully fleshed out, but once it's launched, which will lead into that here in later on in the live stream. We're getting close, horseshoes and hand grenades. Now, going further on, so 136 terahash, that means some more people are online. Hold on, let me see the miners right now. So BC1 is up to 15 terahash. Oh, I'm up to 137 terahash by myself. Okay, so BC1 is the next one trailing behind me. Guys, I think you should try to beat me and add more hash rate than me onto the pool. Just saying. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? Now let's check out our Warthog pool before we get off here. Looks like we're at 70 gigahash. Didn't we have a new display or a new front end for this or no? I thought we did.
I know that we were working on it.
It will be when we get it sent over.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so the Warthog pool is still being worked on for the front end because they're all going to eventually uniformly look the same. Is that correct, Dragon?
Yeah, it should be. They all should look like the Varus and the Bitcoin one.
Okay, awesome.
Minus Ironfish. We still got to figure out how to make a front end for Ironfish.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like it's chugging along, and it actually looks very stable. Not a lot of hash rate jumping around, unlike a lot of other pools. Looks like we have 48 fairly dedicated miners. I know one of them is mine. I have one rig running outside in the garage that I'm just basically letting that thing burn down to the ground because ambient air temperature is daggone near 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can only imagine, I think it's a 6700 XT. I'm not even looking at the temperatures because it's got to be cooking.
That thing's shutting down left and right.
We're just letting her do her thing. What is it, SRB miner or whatever? It's just like probably going nuts. But it looks like we're still hitting blocks. We're doing that thing. Right now we're expected 3.8 blocks. We're hit 3 blocks in the last 100. So we're within the realm of decent, so to speak. Other than that, the last pool, which is the iron pool, do you guys know what the link is for that one off the top of your head? I know I can get to it from btcpool.jellyfc.com. I think I can. Varus, Bitcoin, Warthog. Oh, I can't.
No.
Do I have to go through the Web3?
That's how I usually.
It's iron.jellyfc.com.
Iron.jellyfc.com. Or I can go through right here, I believe. There it is. Okay. Ironfish pool. I have my one rig that's burning down is dual mining Warthog and Ironfish. It looks like our hash rate on there is 500 mega hash. We have 13 miners on it. And does this show difficulty? I don't really know how to read this one as well. Looks like our last public payout was today at 11 CDT. What is that?
Central Daylight. Yeah.
11 a.m. Central Daylight. So we had a payout like about 10 hours ago, give or take, something like that. Yeah. So looks like it's still paying out daily, which is good.
Yeah, we've been hitting about 1 to 3 blocks a day on iron.
Heck yeah. So all the pools are working. That's all other than the Bitcoin pool. We don't know if that one works yet, technically, but when we know, we know. You know?
We'll
Right.
know.
Yeah.
The day you see that
we're not
never
gonna-
hit and say when it found it, that's when you know it's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't want to jinx it, but good gosh,
I
when
mean,
that
we
day
won't,
comes.
we won't be bragging, but there will be signs, you know.
Absolutely. Now, before I hand this off, I did want to give a shout out to the early birds. And actually, the first person in here, he said first with a question mark, was Nick the Phantom. So, Nick the Phantom.
What's up, Nick?
Good
What's up?
evening, sir.
Yeah. And of course, number 2, holding down the number 2 spot, you know, like Jeff Gordon, the man.
The man.
And Jeff Gordon's not the man, but the person in number 2 spot is the man, literally
Is
the
the
man. Holding up behind him is Digital Dumber. Then we got Migrating Rocks. Going further down, we got Buddy Love, Floor, of course, Batman lurking in the shadows, as always. Little Time, what's up, Little Time? Welcome to the live chat. Northern Lights, what's up, guys? Northern, you can always join us. On Northern is part of the staff team. He lays the banhammer down over on Discord. Actually, no, I believe he just helps people out. He's super nice. If you ever have a computer question, you can ask him. And wealth of knowledge.
Hey, Jackson just asked, "Is Conflux hot?" And I would say yes.
Yeah.
Conflux, yeah. That's Conflux is what algorithm? Is it Octopus?
Octopus, yeah.
Yeah. Conflux is a hot one. It's definitely not a summertime algorithm. Little Time Mining, no, just one of the first. Yeah, Little Time was huge into Conflux back in the day. He told me, he was like, Conflux is going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe him. I definitely missed out.
Tread carefully with Conflux, because I had a pretty solid little bag, and I had to restore my computer, and my seed phrase came back with a big fat 0. So all my monies that I mined was gone.
It's funny. I think we were talking when that happened because I had a good bag of Conflux, and I believe their web wallet was the only thing. It was either web or core, probably. And I went to check it one day. I do checks on my wallet. It's like once a month, and it was gone.
Damn.
Yeah, and I will say the Conflux team, they went above and beyond to help me through the ticket, and unfortunately I just didn't respond quickly enough several times, but they did try to help me. But at the end of the day,
it's blockchain. There's nothing you can do, man.
Yeah, gone pecan. And it was a hefty amount.
Yeah, see, I never got into Conflux, mainly because Little Time Mining talked about it too much. So I'm just kidding, Little Time. Hey, by the way, shout out Little Time Mining if you want to watch some actual physical real life mining, because he goes mining for gold. Check out his YouTube channel. Totally different take on anything anybody else is doing in the mining like YouTube space, like talking about computers. But he is a crypto miner that goes gold mining. So pretty cool. And he does it in the mountains of like North Carolina. So shout out North Carolina gang. But other than that, I wanted to hand it off. So whoever wants to take the torch, here it is.
Trips, have at it, brother.
Cool.
You had your little hiatus, so
yeah. Just got back from family vacation. So I did keep up on things what I could while I was gone. I won't bore anybody with details, but we're another miner, lotto miner. Still fighting with Apple, and I think what we're gonna do is come to a compromise with them. There was a couple things that we just can't come to agreement on right now, and I don't have the bandwidth or the knowledge, to be honest with you, to overcome the hurdle. So we're gonna essentially come to a compromise on it, rebuild the app, submit it to them probably tomorrow. I'm hoping. There's just a couple back end. We beefed up the back end security while we had the chance to. We were going to do it further down the line, but since we were kind of in a stall with Apple, we were fortunate enough to have the time to beef up the security on the back end, make everything a little smoother, everything's in one place now. So for the back end guys, it's a lot easier to help me out too, but get what they need, everything in one place. Again, long story short, just waiting on their approval. I'm going to call my gal tomorrow. We've had several phone calls now. I have her direct line. I'm going to call her in the morning and let her know what the team collectively decided. And just to kind of fill everybody in, it was the music section of the application that they were fighting us about. It started out as prove that it's your content and you have licenses to distribute that content. So, I mean, it's our channel, so obviously it's our content. But we went through all the hurdles and everything with that, and then they came back. Now I need to prove that YouTube itself will allow us to use the content. So I don't think it's too big of a deal. Just a little bit of research, I should say, and then we'll get that added. But tired of stalling it out. To be honest with you, I'm tired of arguing. We're just going to come to the compromise, do what we need to do to get it out. And then hopefully it will be expedited, since I have a relationship with them already through speaking with them. But that's where we're at with that. And then other than that, really, like I said, I was on vacation this past weekend. It was nice to get away and just kind of hung out with the fam. A lot of sunlight. I was part of that southern East Coast heat wave Brandon was talking about, and I'm just glad to be home in the AC and not have kids wanting to drag me everywhere. It's funny. It's funny how you rest when you get back from a vacation now. So glad to be back. Glad to be able to hit the grind again. Service and Wi-Fi was spotty up there, and just happy to be back.
I love it. Love it. Cool. Well, I guess I'll take over from here. I don't have a whole ton of stuff to cover tonight, but I figured I'll just kind of go over some security / Web3 stuff. So, nothing too crazy, but I believe the bug bounty program that we had mentioned a couple of weeks ago is pretty much ready to go. At least the aesthetics of what it looks like and all of that. We're still running into a couple of bugs on the back end, so we're gonna work through those. But considering that the app has not been released by Apple yet, I mean, realistically, the bug bounty was going to be used for the app with, options for like Web3 or whatever. But I think what we're doing right now is just focusing on getting everything squared away on the back end, and then looking to release it roughly around the same time that Apple gives us the go to put the app on the store. So we might be able to knock it out a little bit sooner, but as of right now, that is the immediate short-term goal for the bug bounty program. And that's really all I have to cover on the security side of things. The other thing that I'll mention is that we've been working, I say we, Mr. Dave has been working on, for quite some time now to get everything swapped over to the AWS server. And so I believe pretty much all of that is in place and ready to go. I think the only thing that we have to do now is just actually do the official swap. So everything's in place. We just have to actually press the button and hope that everything doesn't explode. But that being said, Dave did mention that there will be a small downtime. And let me check my notes real quick. I don't know.
I just talked to Batman about this before we hopped on.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be a short downtime. Tentatively, I threw out next week just as a date, and he said, yeah, we could do that. So it sounds like I'm used to conversating with him. It's probably all ready, and he's just making sure everything's buttoned down. But we can look forward to it pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, I didn't write this down, but I feel like from our last staff meeting, in talking about it, I think it was only like a few minutes of downtime. like maybe at most 15 minutes or something like that. So the average user probably won't notice the downtime at all. But we did want to kind of give you guys the heads up just in case you are one of those people that views the Web3 portal at an uncommon time. So if you do see that the Web3 portal goes down for a few, just, don't be alarmed. We'll have it coming right back up. So other than that, that's all I got for Security Web3 portal. I would like to mention that still as of now, we're doing weekly community meetings. And so that meeting is scheduled on Sundays, I believe at 10 p.m. Eastern time every week. And for the most part, we've had a pretty good turnout on people showing up. And, we've had some really good discussions on current parts of the project right now, and it's really given us the ability to kind of clarify some things to some of the community members, and then also give them the opportunity to kind of challenge thought on what we're doing with some of these things. And the challenge has been phenomenal for us from a staff side of things, because a lot of the things that they're asking, we don't really it's not really on our radar until it's brought up. So it definitely gives us some things to cover as a staff team, and kind of seek to make that as best as it can be, rather than just trying to release something and then trying to, fix the broken pieces. So appreciate that. And I would appreciate if you have some free time and you want to pop in every Sunday night, as of right now, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be in Discord. So I think that's all I got, Mr. Brandon. If you want to take it from here, it's all you, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
Good.
So, there was one other thing. You know what? But it's not here yet. I just checked the tracking on it. So I had ordered some of my new BCPC t-shirts. I wanted to show them off. I was going to run down to the mailbox if they were in. It looks like they're not supposed to be in here till Saturday. So maybe we can show them off next week. But we do have the merch store, and it is up and live. Is the link on the Web3 yet? I don't believe it is.
I don't think it is, but it would be cool. I was actually going to bring that up. If you could kind of show us what that looks like, because I think you've been adding some things here and there, right?
I have. I added a new BCPC t-shirt with a Frocket front pocket, because I ordered one because I wanted to see like the quality, because I'm a big Frocket user. I don't know about you guys, but like when I got my phone and I'm like on my phone, like it's habit to put it in there. I also worked at an auto parts store, so I had a front pocket for like years. And it just once you have one, I don't know how you can go away from using one, honestly. So I wanted to make sure it was good quality and stuff before, I ended up making more Frocket shirts, because they're a different brand name on the website specifically. So let me pull that up and show you what we got so far.
While you're pulling that up, yeah, I know what you were going to do.
Yep.
I know what you were going to do.
Welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
Batman with the maple syrup. Thank you, kind sir. Bug squashed ya boy. And then Jackson Digital following it up with the big Americana dollar. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys.
Shout out to the people, man.
If anybody in the chat doesn't know, that all goes back to essentially funding for our pools, our servers. It all goes right back into the project. So you guys are keeping it alive. I mean, we'll go broke keeping it alive, but we appreciate.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see here. Visit store. Present my screen. Share screen. Entire screen. There we go.
I think it's safe to say that I can probably get this going quick, fast, and in a hurry for the Web3 portal. I think
It sounds like I need to make a task on Open Project.
Do you hear me?
Urgent. I made a task, and I think it got taken care of previously in the past. So, I also ordered one of these at the same time because I wanted me a good Bitcoin shirt. Went ahead and got it. I sized up to an XL because I'm not quite a large guy anymore. I'm a bit of an extra large guy now. Trying to get back to it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm curious to see how the jellyfish logo looks inside and then on the sleeve. Because like in the pictures, it's just like a super rendered out one, and it looks like it's like popping. But apparently these are screen printed; they're not vinyl. So I just wonder how.
That's good.
Yeah, screen print lasts quite a bit longer, but
Right.
normally screen print doesn't pop like like vinyl will, like shininess. So I'm curious. So I'll have that Saturday as well, and then of course the main shirt in question here, which they're a little bit more expensive cost wise. So I wanted to make sure they were decent, but just the old Ninja Dragon BCPC shirt, and then I don't know why it won't let it just BCPC with a frocket on the front. I definitely wanted to make more frocket shirts. Just wanted to make sure they were decent and worth the extra price before we extend out into that land.
Sir, what do we put in our frocket? Because the only thing I think of is like old cowboys with like the Stoff pack of Marlboro Red.
First of all, if you're talking to somebody, you put them on speakerphone, you flip your phone upside down, and then you put it in your frocket, and then you go back to doing what you're doing.
My man is a genius.
I literally do that. If I have a shirt that has a front pocket, which is most of my shirts, other than these, I talk to everybody on speakerphone. It's probably like the construction industry that's like been burned into my soul since I got out of high school. I literally talk to people like this. Like, does anybody else talk to people like that?
I see people and I'm like, why do they do that?
And I think it's maybe due to the fact that I grew up with Nextels, and it's like chirp, and everything's on speakerphone, everything's hey, what's up, and, whatever. I miss that. Like people, there's kids that will never know what a Nextel is.
Oh, bro, I had many Nextels. I had the brick. You remember the brick, the black one? My buddy took his. Do you remember the Nokia that was claimed to be the brick too?
Yeah.
We took them face to face until one of them broke, and mine, the Nextel won. The Nokia broke.
Nextels broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you even saying right now?
Dude, were you old? Are you old enough to remember that the Nokia? That, like, you could literally
the one with snake on it.
Yeah, the snake.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. All right, we're talking about our stuff now.
Yeah. Well, I remember like one of the last like Nextels I had. It was like a Motorola flip phone, and it had like a burgundy, like a dark burgundy color, and it had a camera on it. And I thought that was like mind blowing. It had a camera on the phone. And now, 20 something years later, I literally record everything on my phone. And my phone is better than like every camera I've ever had. Not saying much because I don't buy like high-end cameras, but yeah.
Think about this though. Kids nowadays will never know what a BlackBerry was.
I know, or a Sidekick. I had a Sidekick.
A Sidekick, dude. I used one forever.
Like the screen flipping out thing. I love that.
I had the Katana. Did you remember the Katana?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one that it flipped both ways. It like would flip open, or you could do it like a book.
What was the one phone that like slid up that everybody had and had a keyboard underneath it?
Oh, I remember that one. You'd slide it.
It was a Motorola.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it.
Do you guys remember StarTAC? Motorola StarTACs? Oh, bro, those were old. Yeah, those were one of the first like flip phones.
You're old.
They had what was it? They had caller ID on the top of the flip phone, so you wouldn't have to open it to see the number, and that was like,
yeah.
I was like, bro.
I remember the worst phone I ever had, like back in the day. It was you probably know what it is, but it was like the size of like a candy bar, and it would flip open, and like the top screen was like super thin, and like the buttons were like so tiny.
I remember that.
It was horrible, but it was cool,
Dude, how about this too? Predictive text with the
T9.
Yeah, T9. Dude, remember like being in class and
I was dirty on a flip phone.
I know, dude.
Like I probably kind of messed me up for spelling for a while because I only knew how to spell like the first 3 letters of a word. But yeah, like, you know, we were literally we've lived through like software and hardware technological changes that were so revolutionary and happened so fast.
Honestly,
dude.
T9 probably should have never went away. Like even now, T9 would be like a game changer if you think about it.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess it's not used as much because people aren't using like a standard like keypad layout. I just
Right.
hate that phones used to be so like a phone used to be like a part of your personality, and now a phone's like, oh, you got an Android, and then it's like, oh, you got an iPhone, and it's just back and forth. That's it. That's literally it. It's just Android people hating on iPhone people, and iPhone people hating on Android people, and there's no in between.
All now, man. After this app process, I can't stand any of them.
Well, it's I'm on both sides of the fence. So I have a couple phones that I pay for service on. So I have I have an Apple, and then I have another Apple. Those both have service on them, and then I have my Droid.
What?
So,
I mean,
shout out if you need cheap service, Mint. You can get the like the 5 gig a month plan, and on like Black Friday or whatever, it's like $120 for a year of service.
damn.
So the phones that I don't use very often, I'll just pay for a year of service, and then my main phone, I pay for like the unlimited plan. Still way cheaper than like going to a traditional company.
Have you ever looked into Helium Mobile? I thought about doing that for a while.
They have like a free one, but one of my friends was using it, and he said it was constantly what was it? What did he call it? It was derating him or like limiting him or something. He's like, you definitely couldn't use it as like a main phone, but you could probably use it as like a secondary phone.
Right.
Throttling, maybe that's what. Yeah, something like that. But it would throttle like your phone calls. Like, oh, you could only make a phone call for so long, and then your data was throttled. And you guys remember, like,
what is this, prison?
Was it call me after 9
o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Nights and weekends, my man. Nights and weekends. Yep.
Dude, I remember when I was like 12 or 13, like my dad's phone was my phone from like 9 o'clock until 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Talking to all
I had a cell phone at that. Bro, I remember pagers. I had probably 6 or 7 different pagers throughout my life. Like the coolest one I had was the Motorola, where your friends could say something and then the message would scroll across the screen.
Oh, that's cool. You're older than me. I never had a pager.
No, my parents had pagers. Yeah, we had a bag phone in the car growing up, though.
Dude, I remember my dad made such a big deal about his like bag phone in the car. He's like, "It's the coolest thing ever." I'm like, "This is fucking lame. This is so lame." Like, I'm like, why do you want to talk to people in the car? And,
my dad had a car phone, an actual car phone. Do you remember when they would put antennas on the car?
Oh yeah, dude.
They would have an antenna for the car phone, bro.
Looked like a cop car.
I have a like a 03 Mercedes, and it still has a car phone in the center console. And I'm like, who was using that? Like,
wait, no, maybe.
I guess that's late. That's late, but yeah, it's like there's a legit like it's got like the twisty cord and everything, and the phone. I'm like,
crazy.
Okay, yeah. So crazy times that we've lived through in this short period of time. I mean, like, there was pyramids and stuff back in the day, but that pales in comparison to the App Store. Like, the first time you got on the App Store blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's funny we're talking about this because off subject a little bit. My son played Super Smash Brothers on vacation with a new friend, and he was like, "Can we buy that when we get home on my Switch?" And I'm like, I made him do a couple things anyway, so I'm buying it, and I'm like, well, the physical copy from Amazon is $10 cheaper than the download from Nintendo Store, so I'm just going to order the physical copy. and it just blew his mind. He's like, well, what do I do with it? I'm like, you put it in the machine, or you put it in the Switch. There's a top slot for it. And he's like, what? And I'm like, keep in mind, he's 7 years old. He knows what's going on in the world somewhat. And I'm like, he's like, so it's on there after I put the game in there. And I'm like, no, you have to put the game in when you want to play it. And he's like, well, what do I do when I want to play another game?
Take it out.
Oh man. Hey, but low key though, the digital copy might be a better option for you in the future since you have multiple kids. You can use the family plan so they can all use that one game.
Man, kids in technology is crazy because I have a 3-year-old. I also have a 2-year-old, but my 3-year-old now, I gave him it got traded into me at the computer shop, but it was like a touchscreen all-in-one, just garbage computer, like a dual core Athlon processor. I wiped it, put a blank copy of Windows on it, and then I put a icon for the internet, and I set it to YouTube as the homepage, and I have an account logged in that's a YouTube Kids account. Which, by the way, you have to be careful because some of those kids stuff is wild. So I've already blocked quite a few of those kids channels. Anyway, he figured out one day that there's like he just like scrolls through there and like picks his videos and scrolls and just like goes into the void. And then he figured out one day at the top there's a microphone icon. He clicks the microphone and he's like, Pikachu. And I'm like, and I hear him going like, Pikachu, and it's like Pikachu, like, and then he stops and goes like, ding, and he's like, Dad, come here, and he's like, I did that, and I'm like, what'd you do? And he's like, watch this. And he goes,
melt my heart, dude.
Transformers. And
I'm
like,
great.
I'm like, you got it going on, dude. At 3 years old, I was like eating mud off the driveway.
Oh,
you know?
dude, I was eating grass and like, yeah, for sure. Playing with Lincoln logs. If you're lucky, you stack them up like 4 sets and they knock over.
Honestly, when I was like probably 10 or 12 years old, we got our first computer. And back then, you know, you couldn't do nothing with a computer really except browse the internet. And dude, at that young age, I found HTML goodies, and I started coding with HTML and CSS at like 10 or 12. I was building full-blown websites. So like if he's figuring out how to do this right now at 3 years old, boy, throw him in some HTML goodies and let him have at it, dude.
Yeah, I remember the first computer that was like our family computer, and it was like one of those, was it like Compaq or whatever, Windows 98, I think it was. And my big thing is like I had to go and right click on everything and go to properties and see what like the behind the scenes everything. And now I'm like, why did I do that? But I remember like going like every icon, everything, like everything I could click on, I had to see the properties, like what is it behind the scenes, and like
that's how you can find out if it's a virus or not. A lot of the times that's what it, like when dummies come up and ask me stuff about computers, I'm like, right click, go to properties, who signed it, and they're like, Mitsubishi Fujiwuchu, and I'm like, yeah, that's a virus, bro, get rid of it. Like, so you're not wrong. I mean,
yeah, that was like I remember that was like my big thing. And then later on down the line, once we got internet and got like Windows XP, and I remember one birthday, I was like, hey, can we get a second phone line so that way I can be on the dial-up?
Yeah, dude.
I was like,
Juno, AOL, you know?
I went through so many AOL free subscriptions before my parents were like, it's fine, we'll pay for internet, because they were like, I'm gonna be honest, my dad was like anti-internet for the longest time.
Did you ever use AOL Instant Messenger?
AIM? Yeah. Dude, yeah, the door open, the door closed.
Yeah,
like,
who did?
Everybody in my school used it. And then you set your away messages to be all
dude.
And stuff. Yeah.
MySpace. Do you all remember?
Oh yeah, definitely. Dude,
I think I still got a MySpace out there floating around.
Sure I do. You can
set
the music and
top friends, like frig all you guys, like you're not on my top.
Somebody would make mad, you take them off the top. Yeah.
Think about how many questionable AIM situations you got into in your life.
There's yeah. I mean, I was too young to be AIMing, but we were out there. We were doing it.
Automatic Beats earlier said ASL. Do you remember that?
Is that age?
Gender, location.
Yeah, gender, location. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gender,
Not gonna say that. Not gonna get the trigger word out on.
Yeah.
I might have just triggered us, but you know what?
No, you're good. You're good.
I remember way back in the day, there were BBSs where you would dial up into, and there was like only 10 or 15 people, and it's just a chat room, and it's like, this is the coolest thing ever, and it's like, how far have we come, man? Like,
well, dude, my father-in-law, which is my wife's stepfather, because the original they never got married, her original dad, but he met. So my wife's father-in-law, or my father-in-law, fuck, I can't even talk. Anyway, he met my wife's mom on AOL Pool.
what?
Like,
I remember that
years ago, like the chat room on AOL Pool. Like, that's how they met. And guess what? He's from Sweden.
That's crazy, dude.
And he literally flew over here.
Shush.
And this has been 20 plus years ago. Flew over here to meet her off of AOL Pool. And they said back in the day she couldn't afford a webcam, so she mailed him pictures of herself. Mailed him, because that was the fastest way to get.
I believe it.
I did it on the BBSs because I mean, there was always the girls that you would try to like chat with or whatever, and I honestly remember them sending pictures, and that's how you would know what each other looked like.
I remember I had a girlfriend on AIM, and I got grounded from the computer, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I had to send her a physical letter to say that I got grounded and I wouldn't be on anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, back in the day, imagine so there was no cell phone camera, there was no digital camera. I mean, the digital cameras that existed were horrible and super expensive. They were like 0.1 megapixels, and they were like hundreds of dollars.
Dude, you were balling if you had a webcam back in. I mean, you were balling if you had a computer, but you definitely were balling if you had a webcam.
Yeah, and it didn't plug in with no daggone USB. That's for sure. It was like a serial port. With bajillion pins on the back of it. But yeah, it's like tell a kid nowadays, hey, I want you to send a picture to somebody digitally, but you can't use a digital camera, you can't use email, you can't use Messenger, you can't use a camera, like any kind of camera you can think of. You had to mail that stuff. We were mailing things.
And I'm gonna embarrass myself even further. The girl that sent me her picture put perfume in it.
Oh man!
So it's like you were in jail. It's like,
I know.
You might as well have been on the Titanic, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was back it was the days of like exploring the internet. Like IRC was cool, but the AIM was where like it was popping. Like you said, kids from your school, like you'd exchange AIM handles and like.
Would anybody else leave their like speakers cranked up so you could see when like people come online or people went offline?
Oh yeah.
So that way I didn't have to be at the computer. And be like,
yeah. You know, your parents are like, you got to get off the computer, and you're like, oh, all right, fine, I'll go play some video games or something. And then you hear somebody come on, and you're like, whoop, gotta go.
Depending on who it was,
yeah.
I used to take my headphones and listen to my Winamp, because my parents would not let me listen to my music at night in my room. So I put my headphones on and I'd use my computer. Well, I would stay connected to the internet, and all throughout the night, I would hear my AOL Instant Messenger going off, my Yahoo Messenger, my MSN, and all I would hear through in between my songs was my messengers going off. So I finally started muting my messengers.
Ding. Oh, dude, those.
Did any of y'all have LimeWire?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Did you have Kazaa?
I had that was before LimeWire.
Napster,
I had Napster. I had all that stuff.
Bearshare.
And then they, honestly though, and then because like I did music for a little bit and they fixed it. Like that's why I got out of music, was because it was like there's no music. But once they came out with like a streaming service, like me personally, I'm not gonna pirate any music when I can get it for $20, whatever, a year for, you know, no ads. But that was the revolution of, remember Metallica? Like they were all upset about it, and that was the revolution of like the digital, where we had physical stuff and they're like, all right, now it's digital. We got to figure out how we can not let this loose. Yeah, not let it loose to the public.
There were some very questionable things available on LimeWire and Kazaa too.
I saw the most disturbing thing to date I've ever seen.
If you searched for it, you could download it.
Oh yeah,
I've been
wild.
I've been
you couldn't
on
preview
Onion
it
sites.
until you downloaded it. So
I've been on Onion sites too, like the dark web or whatever with Tor. I get on every once in a while just to dick around, and then you see that I saw that like, what was it, 20 years ago, and now even on the dark web you barely see it like as violent. And
20 years ago there wasn't no dark web, it was just the web.
The web, yeah. And then like you do a Google search and like you find whatever's out there, and then when you get 15 pages deep on Google, you're seeing like the dark web. You know what I mean?
All right, to end it out, YouTube, when it started, did we all just watch drag racing videos? Is that all we watched? That's
I watched a lot of guides, like video game guides.
See, I didn't. All I watched was, because I was like, oh, what's a Super versus a Mustang? Like,
yeah,
you know, like,
1320 was goated.
Because you never knew, like, you had to be at a racetrack to see the race, and I'm like, we only have a few around here, so you know now dude, I spent so many hours watching
and video game montages back in the day when like Machinima was a thing.
Oh yeah, Machinima was huge. Lots of guides. I was a big RuneScape guy there for a while, so I was watching all the RuneScape guides. Yeah. And then if it was any car content, it was mostly what was it? I can't remember the name now. It was a huge channel that like reviewed a bunch of other channels, all car content though. Dang, I'll remember it once we get off the live stream.
Right.
Of course, but yeah, no, that was and I also watched a lot of like, was anybody into like sound systems and stuff? And I don't know why, but I would watch other people like build out sound systems and then have like the competitions. And it's like, obviously I couldn't hear what they were hearing through my crappy headset or my crappy.
But you see the air flying and stuff, and you're like, dang!
Yeah.
I had 2 JLW012s, boy. Oh yeah.
That was a Rockford Falls guy.
Yeah, I was always a JL guy, and then Alpine amps, man. Like,
yeah, I had some NW3s, or no, 12 W3s. I think they were the little bit deeper ones in my truck. And then I went through a stage where I was buying and selling speakers. But right now, today, in every vehicle I own, minus my side by side, everything has stock speakers. Nothing is modified. The side by side's got a Rockford system in it, but it came with it when I bought it. So
you don't need them. Like, I mean, I would love, like, I have a Yukon, and it's got one of those little 8s in the back, and
dude, drop like a 15 in the back and like a ported box. Your family would be like,
well, you see those videos now. Have you seen those cars?
Dude, they get.
Oh, look up Steve Mead, man.
They have to reinforce the car with steel roll cages because it's going to take the car apart. Like,
and also like one speaker today can do what like 10 speakers used to do back in the day, or even more. So it's crazy.
My dude had two JL15s in the back of his Buick LeSabre.
Do y'all remember the Walmart speakers, the Sony Explodes?
Oh yeah.
Who didn't have those?
Dude, they'll explode. You put the explodes in the back of the trunk, man. Let her
rip.
Vibrate the tag, you know?
Tags, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, we're dropping people like flies. We're down to 10 people and reminiscing with us. So
Yeah.
we're coming up on the 50-minute mark. I'm gonna be on the computer for a little bit if people want to come over to the Discord. But other than that, we'll let you guys go in peace.
Yeah.
We'll
Sorry
probably
about
do
the
this.
rants.
Yeah. The stroll down memory lane. It's
Yeah.
easy to go down there.
Well, and everything is just progressing as normal, so it's not like we have too much to cover. So it's nice chatting, boys.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good night.
You too,
Love
man.
y'all. See y'all Sunday.
Later, yo. Yeah, Sunday,
Sunday. What time?
10 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern, baby.
Be there or be square.
Show.